Hey, cool use of your photos, Simon.
I thought I'd better put it up there.
Love it.
I love the whole display, I have to say. Um, I saw the same artist do something back in 2015 in the UK. And there's this ancient building, the Royal Academy of Art, which has a big staircase as you go in. And this was done in this revered building. It was fantastic.
It's too
Fantastic.
cool. Who is the artist?
Cam called Jim Handy, I think his name is. He's a Scottish bloke. It's really interesting. How does it work that they do this art? He has licensed a piece to a studio. The art gallery then licenses the right to show that for a 12-month period when no one else can do it. But
Huh.
they construct it on the floor, and at the end they obviously take it off the floor, and it's all different every time because it's a different building.
Right.
And technically it's two pieces. The floor is one license, the stairs are another license. It's weird how art works, to
Yeah,
to
totally.
that. And basically it's a promise. They're going to pay them money, and it's a promise they won't do it elsewhere. The artist probably gets about 10% of the cost of doing this because it took them a week of five people to implement it, to install put the installation in, because you saw it, I think, at the beginning. Anyway, I hadn't really worked out. I sat with Ava, the chief exec, and talked about how it works when you're licensing this sort of thing in. And it's a weird commercial setup.
Check out that photo I just posted in the group chat here on Zoom.
Hold
It's
on.
it's them installing it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've got a whole series of these. I've been to see it a few times. It's brilliant. And that
Pretty.
picture from the top, we've now got a picture from the top complete. Um, let's see if I've got it on my system. I don't think I've got it on my system.
Mhm.
Uh, and it's very cute. It's a really effective it's a really effective display. Anyway, it's opening properly. Well, it opened this week. They've got music and um, opening on Friday, I think. Uh, the um, the artist is himself. I don't know if he's going to be there, but he is a DJ as well as an artist, basically. So music goes well with it. But anyway,
I don't know what
I
your
like a bit of art.
I don't know what your interest is these days in getting involved with new projects, but I got an inquiry from a guy this week who runs a technology company around photogrammetry, like using lidars and cameras to do these certain kinds of imaging. And he has a new medical imaging application that he wants to explore.
Okay,
And
okay, yeah. Always happy to, if it's got the word medical in it. I'm always happy to
he
to
passes the sniff
to.
test.
Yeah. Okay,
He's squarely in
okay, okay.
control of this technological space that he's in, and he
Yeah,
wants to expand into this health space. So
yeah,
I was thinking of you in terms of an
yeah,
intro.
yeah, yeah. Delighted. I've got a meeting being scheduled with the minister as well. What's his name?
What's up, Michelle?
What's his name? What is the minister's name?
Which minister?
BC Minister of whatever it is, Science or something. They've
I don't
changed the
know.
naming,
I
haven't
don't know the science minister.
they?
Hi, Alma.
Anyway, I'm trying to sort that out. But there
Welcome.
we go. There we go.
Alma, this is Michelle and Simon. They've both been kind of longstanding members of this community, and Alma might be our newest. She just joined in the last, I think, 24 or 48 hours, or at least has been
Oh wow. Oh wow. Unencumbered
My
by
God.
knowledge of what we do.
on.
Yeah, I've
Welcome.
been following for a long time, but I was traveling, so I didn't want to do transactions from Mexico. So until I got back, I signed up.
Yeah,
My
welcome.
God.
This is a very informal call, but it ends up being pretty awesome. Once we get a little bit more critical mass, we'll probably just go around the room and do some introductions. But it's a great way for members to just like get to know one another, get some visibility into what each other's working on. And the stuff that emerges from these calls is always surprising. So that's kind of what we're doing here.
Yeah,
Um,
this is
it's
true.
our
Hey everybody, sorry for the delay. I was finishing another call, and I'm probably gonna go offline because I have my lunch right in front of me. So I'll shut my video off so you don't see me stuffing my face.
Oh, we got two sweet doggos in the background today. I've only usually seen one at a time.
Yeah, that's Mikey and Khaleesi. So Mikey's 16 and Khaleesi's 15.
Zaro has a special dog family that he brought with him from Brazil, and yeah,
Indeed.
sweet
Wow.
animals.
Yeah.
How you been, Zaro?
Good, good. Good talks. Great week. Let's keep that going. Let's end it in a beautiful note here.
I'm at Young Gun Studio today, which is the educational art studio of one of our members called Pete Young. And
Yeah.
Pete and Nessa and myself, hey Yummy, have pulled together a AI for art teachers workshop today. So like 32 people are having professional development day. They're here, they're all art teachers, and the conversation's pretty freaking amazing. Like a
Wow.
lot of you guys know we have an AI in education subgroup, which has been thriving, but this feels like even a subgroup sort of, because it's just art teachers. And in some ways I feel like the news that we have for them is maybe more positive than they suspect. One of the things that's been emergent for me lately is these AI agents and stuff, and when they talk about jobs and careers and things, if your job has a right answer, it seems like one of the first ones that's on the chopping block, because if it could be algorithmized, or hey Dimitri,
Yep.
or if there is a true right answer that can be determined, feels like we can probably train computers to do that thing. But when it comes to teaching art and expression and how to create impact around beauty or love or more of these aesthetic qualities and stuff, it feels like, at least for a while, art educators
So
are
as long as we don't know what we're doing, we're okay.
as long as there's not a for sure right answer to it, as long as you're forming minds and perspectives more so than getting right answers. So anyway, it feels like kind of a positive spirit in here today, as these folks are trying to figure out, what do students need, what is their most impactful thing they can do in the classroom going forward. I mean, it's a real time of soul searching if you think about it. Like, these folks are just questioning everything, the value of a school, of teachers, of technology in the classroom, and students are freaking confused. They're getting mixed messages. There's guys like a lot of us on these calls who are like responsibly pursuing opportunities and unlocked capabilities and stuff, and then their teachers and their classrooms are like, no phones, no AI, you're a cheater, you're bad, learn how to think, and whatever. So anyway, it's a very interesting time. Welcome, Chris.
Yo, good morning. Happy Friday.
Thanks, man. Folks, Chris, I just introduced Alma very quickly, though I'll let you introduce yourself here in a second. But also, Chris is another new member, joined in the last week. We know each other through a Indigenous Technology Circle WhatsApp group that sprung up during Web Summit, and kind of have kept in touch a little bit there. And it joined us recently. Had some really good questions after the end of Manuel Strain's last keynote at Vancouver AI. So anyway, welcome, Chris. I think we have enough critical mass. We can probably go around the room and do just like a 30-second who you are and what's on your mind, or how are you showing up today. And so, Alma, I'm going to invite you to go first, and then Chris, and then we'll work our way through some of the old timers here.
Well, hi. I joined this because I've been in AI for, my gosh, for the last 30 years. My background is in health informatics. So I've been being a professor and a researcher and CIO, Canadian Space, and the Trinity Western University. So I've been doing AI from all angles. So right now I'm working with Infogenetica solutions, and we're working on well, we do drug development solutions, and also platforms for wellness. So there are like a number of different projects that we're working
Alma,
on.
I am this is why we do this, because of the emergence that happens. So I'm so excited to introduce you to Simon here.
Simon. Yeah, I was about to ask. Do you
Yeah.
work with Simon or do you know him?
Not yet.
All right.
I'm going to have you go third in the intros, Simon. But he's a CEO
Okay.
of a drug discovery company and a health tech AI investor in general. and a great node in this network. I also say Trinity Western University is the reason I'm in Canada. I moved here in 1995 to my parents and I had a bargain, which was if I went to a Christian university and I went the semester after graduation without taking any time off, they'd pay for half of it. And so, not being an idiot, but also not liking their deal, I found the Christian university that was the farthest from home in California, which was Trinity. And, where the professors talk philosophy and drink beer, unlike my family's very strict American version of evangelicalism. So, anyway, I graduated with a computer science and philosophy degree from Trinity in 1999.
Oh, well, I was almost your professor. I started teaching in computing science in 2004.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for being here. I look forward to getting to know you. And thanks for just bringing your knowledge and wisdom and presence.
Thank you.
Chris.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Chris Lekbe-Carpenter. I'm Heiltsuk First Nation on my mom's side. I'm also Squamish and Ukrainian on my dad's side. I live in Vanna, down on Musqueam lands, where I am right now. Really stoked to join the group and just be part of the community. That's one thing I'm really finding about tech work and AI work in general is the community is really strong compared to my previous work in government. Reminds me more of my time when I cut my teeth in community-based nonprofits and student union management before going into government, both with my nation and the province of BC. I'm showing up here today just energized. Like I say, I love coming to the Van AI stuff and looking more and more how to get integrated both through that and the Indigenous Tech Circle. Went to the Technology Impact Awards and met up with David Asline, who's another member of the Indigenous Tech Circle, as well as a blast from the past, Jeff Ward of Anamike, who I knew through my work with the province, and he won an award, was sitting with us. So it was really cool. It was just
last night
like
you're talking about
convergence.
You're talking about last night.
Yeah, last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he won Best Corporate Culture in BC, an Indigenous AI firm.
Yeah, it's amazing too because I've been exposed to their corporate culture and the way that they work, and it's kind of exactly what I want to do at the province in terms of indigenizing and thinking about different ways of orienting our, say, corporate culture or the motivations behind why we do what we do. Just a little bit about myself. Yeah, formerly worked in, say, economic development, self-government, things like our constitution with the Heiltsuk Nation. I was our ECDev officer for a number of years, did things around investments and like large-scale business negotiations. Moved to the province because we had a telecoms company. I had experience with that and with the rollout of fiber and whatnot and change management around like what's possible, the art of the possible with increased and enhanced connectivity. And so at the province, as a director of Indigenous Relations in the connectivity division, half of it was bring new and enhanced connectivity to First Nations communities that just had low baseline connectivity or none at all. And then the second half is digital development. What do they want to do with it beyond better Netflix, OnlyFans, and gaming, right? And so that's more on the side like the change management. And so that leads me to today. I didn't love working for the province as a First Nations person. It's incredibly dissonant, cognitive dissonant to be in government. As well as, you're working with people who are on the face of it, aren't bigoted, but they represent, still the old school mentality of bureaucratic administration and governance of Indigenous peoples. So it's really difficult. Left government midsummer and have gone in two paths with my own consulting company. One is being smart at what I'm smart at, what I do with the province with my First Nation, getting paid for that. The second is my passion play, which is through that work, being exposed to what First Nations and other Indigenous groups really care about with technology and where their pain points are, where their value props are, and how that differs from like the normative sort of tech culture or marketplace that's out there. And through that, seeing a real niche for enterprise AI systems for First Nations governments, Indigenous business and enterprise, as well as their, allied partners and stakeholders and whatnot. And so through that, just messing around with trying to figure out, is there a way to create like an affordable, secure by design, open source stack that can be deployed on-prem and like just cover all those pain points, because First Nations through OCAP principles, ownership, control, access, possession, hate that their data goes elsewhere, especially if it goes across the border to the States where it can be intercepted.
That's right.
The other part of it is just the ability to manipulate and hold it in your own hands and train yourself up on it rather than being dependent on, unfortunately, people like us, the experts that are out there, because that's been a massive pain point. You can get economic development expertise in, but it doesn't get transferred to the nation. And once that person leaves, that expertise leaves, and it creates a dependency environment. And so I'm just trying to figure out, is there a way to crack that nut so that we can develop systems that can really meet all those value and pain sort of points and sort of skate down the middle in terms of not doing business as usual, which is generally how I approach my consulting work as well.
Mhm.
Thinking about longer term benefit horizons, different planning cycles or motivations. And so coming back to like the meta of management and governance in terms of what I know is the sort of the culture of management within First Nations versus the tech industry versus
Mhm.
booming up to a greater society beyond that. So it's just a little bit about me. And today I'm a little bit stressed out because I'm still making my way in this one. And I got my little guy coming next week. And um, between that and like my own studies, like I'm building myself up from the ground up in AI competencies. So I just have like an overwhelming like crush of articles to read and videos to watch as I skill myself up, sort of thing.
I'm so happy you're here. That was an incredible introduction, really, just a real mic drop moment, I would say, actually. And I don't want to stress you out any further, but I would like for you to consider if you would like to give a talk at the November 20 whatever Vancouver AI meetup about some of the work you're doing. I actually think there's a lot of you seem to be right at the edge of that, and would probably have a lot to share with our community about what's going on in that space. So I can talk to you offline, but I wanted to just maybe extend an invite for you to consider if you could give a 10 or 15-minute talk at the November Vancouver AI meetup.
For sure, I'm pretty at ease with public speaking, and I just like being part of the community. So it'd be fun. Yeah, it'd be really cool to get out there.
I want to take a little moment to riff off that too. So a lot of you know that I'm very committed to Indigenous reconciliation work, both through my job at CTO at the Indigenomics Institute, where we're working on economic reconciliation. But this has been a long-term mission and kind of a personal goal of mine, is to kind of do my own reconciliation work and stuff, and kind of some unpacking my privilege and different things. And so my ability to get into close relationship with the Squamish Nation came through a trip to Bella Bella, where the Heiltsuk Nation is from. And Chris wasn't there at the time, and we didn't meet, but I got to be the safety boat captain on this tribal journey, Squamish youth 600 nautical mile paddle from Squamish up to Bella Bella. We were on the water for like a month, and I got to participate in a bunch of ceremony and got brought into a Squamish canoe family. And so a lot of you guys have met like Johnny Williams and Gabriel George, and those are some of the folks that I started to connect with. It was in 2014, like a decade ago now. Anyway, it's just fun. I was trading photos back and forth with Chris over the last week a little bit, and I think you probably recognize a lot of those people and places and pictures, and so it's so interesting to kind of come full circle a decade or so later. But yeah, I'm really happy you're here, man.
Thank you.
Simon, I'm going to have you go next since I said so, and then we're going to flip over to James. I'll introduce him before he goes, but we have another new member here today. So Simon.
Yep. Okay. Very quickly. Sometimes in these groups, I feel like the friendly face of the enemy. British, background, as Chris describes me, fat cat CEO approach to life, but I am not that bad. I have a great interest in art and the rest. As you can see, the backdrop of my picture is what is on show now at the Vancouver Art Gallery. And if you ever want to meet me, as Yomi knows, you just come along on a Wednesday. I use that as my office, as my center to bring people in, which is fun. But yeah, on the serious note, we're doing drug discovery using AI. So really incredible developments in that space now. As of this last couple of months, we're now looking at spinning out, I think, 8 different companies in the next 2 years from that, based around different disease areas that the AI can now analyze. And the headline for me is that over the next 5 years, we and others like us will invent and find more new drugs than have ever been invented. Now, that sounds brilliant. And as a democratization of science, it probably is. But I'm terribly sorry for the big pharma companies, because it might really ruin their industry, because the whole concept of how hard it is to change and create new drugs, we're actually going to make a terrible mess of that. And it's really exciting. Fantastic fun.
I mean, that seems to be the case for so many incumbents right now. You know, I'm working pretty closely with EA's creative innovation team, and, you know, their whole traditional corporate innovation pipeline is at risk. And, you know,
completely.
The whole apple cart, you know, is at risk of being set up in all these industries, whether it's big pharma or big video games, or, as Kevin will probably talk about, big Hollywood film and entertainment. You know, even a 10 or 12-year-old startup is now the incumbent and has a lot to fear from these quick, fast-moving, nimble AI, you know, organizations and stuff. So
no, it's great fun, and it's going to change the pharma biotech industry entirely. And I will talk till whatever cows or colloquial thing comes home, but about that. It's just great. It's a great moment in time. Do not hold back.
Yeah,
get involved with it.
Simon's a sweet man. I went to his house one time, met his family, his wife, and his kids, and got to see all of his paintings. He's a extremely accomplished fine art painter and stuff. And I was just joking that
we go to the same tailor, don't we? You and
I. I'm just joking that he's a jet-setting fat cat. It's just one of his various facets. And you wear that one well, sir. James,
thank you so much.
We're just having a moment of going around the room. This is an informal call. People can talk about how they're showing up, what they're working on, what's on their mind. And I was happy to see your membership come in this morning. So over to you, sir.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. And, you know, just to kind of echo Simon's sort of evil British voice from the Hollywood movies, here's another one. I noticed some Nottingham connection actually on your LinkedIn there, Simon. Are you a Nottingham boy originally, or was
not Nottingham born and bred, but the Intelligent Omics AI business was a spin out from the Cancer Research, Van Geest Cancer Research Centre in Nottingham. So I'm up there all the time. Are you up there?
No, well, I'm based in Vancouver, but I'm originally from Nottingham. So I just thought connection.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah. So I mean, my background, you know, is kind of a little bit more on the entertainment side. But I think, as you were saying there, Chris, you know, a lot of music industry, games industry, film industry. Obviously, everybody's going to end up getting disrupted in the same way that we were just talking about with big pharma, right? So I suppose, you know, if I'm a three-legged person, I like to say I've got one leg in games, one leg in music, one leg in Web3. But inevitably, therefore, all legs in AI, hopefully with the human still at the center of the equation there. You know, I like to talk about human-centric AI, really. Just a little bit about me. I've been in video games for 25 years. Yes, born and bred in Nottingham. Left the UK in 93 after having done a philosophy degree in computational model of the mind, which is kind of, as I said in my little bio when I signed up for the group, making Turing machines out of wood, you know, is sort of like an interesting, you know, embarkation point into this whole sort of couple of decades of development in AI and machine learning. So I always sort of had that as a basis. But yeah, in 93, I moved to Japan because I figured I wanted to go learn another language. We'd done a lot of, you know, language acquisition theory stuff as part of the degree. So I was like, well, let me go see if I can put that into practice. And, you know, best laid plans, ended up staying in Asia for about 17 years. So I had a front row seat for the early days of massively multiplayer online gaming and free to play with companies like Nexon, NCSoft. Had a company called Online Game Services in Silicon Valley for about 3-4 years, where we did a lot of early stage game hosting and early stage digital twin stuff. A lot of work with Second Life at that time, things like that. And then, yeah, 2010. Along the way, somehow I'd met a couple of guys from the Vancouver games industry, and we decided to start a studio here, which was called Roadhouse. And you can see my Iron Maiden jet there. So my personal career highlight was making Iron Maiden's mobile game. Ended up flying on the plane and still actually doing a fair amount of work in music and games and Web3, as I said. So that's kind of the full circle. Currently, I do it through a little boutique advisory called Greenstone, which is ultra boutique in that really it's only me. And obviously, that company's kind of evolved over the last decade as sort of technological frameworks have shifted and the cutting edge moves ever forward, right? And so, obviously, yeah, wanted to be part of this group because as we've all just said, AI is definitely where it's at the moment. If it hasn't been for the last 5, 6 years. So anyway,
Well,
that's me, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody
I
in
thought of
person.
like 10 things that I wanted to comment as you went through that stuff, but I'll start by saying I told you guys when I introduced him on the channel that he's intimidatingly smart. I mean, you are that fuck, dude. You just kind of blew my mind a couple of times right there in terms of some of the things you've been involved with. Zaro, who I maybe will invite to go next, is a gaming guy. And when you were telling me about appreciation engine,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's private, we don't need to bring it up here, but if you want to, would you just give a little brief on appreciation engine that you're working on? And also, I noticed that you seem to be involved with the BC Parliamentary Secretary for Digital Innovation. I saw you on a call there last week and you invited some people on our channel. So
Yeah,
tell
that
us.
was with 221A and the Fair Data Hub. Yeah, I can just give a couple of comments there. So Appreciation Engine is one of the companies that Greenstone is engaged with. I try and keep it very manageable. So there's at any one time maybe 3, 4 companies that we're kind of genuinely engaged with on a business development as a service and fractional exec basis. And there's actually a sort of common cohesive thesis around why they're in the ecosystem. And currently, what I'm focused on is this shift across all types of entertainment, I guess, at least as the departure point, where the artists and creators, and you can come down the chain a little bit and say music labels and what have you, they're all tired of having all of their data downstream with the distributors that currently don't seem to add any value, right? So, for example, in gaming, there's the app stores, there's Google Play, there's Steam. So if you think about where your own user data sits, it's not with you, it's with those guys. And in the old days, yes, they would help with user discovery. But at the moment, I think there's this big sense that everybody needs to reconnect creator with consumer or creator with audience. And actually that in many cases, the consumers and the audience will also now become what we call owner champions in that they have a much more vibrant and active role in this kind of bi-directional relationship with the original creator,
Yeah,
whether or not that's remixing music because we've figured out how to pay people for royalties once that happens, all these kinds of things. But the absolute glue of that for me is having fully consent-based zero-party and first-party data, right? So you have to have an audit trail to that user that anytime GDPR, CCPA, APPI, any one of these 144 countries that's got its data privacy rules now in place and are actually now issuing, like, for example, last year, $1.2 billion in fines just from the GDPR. The thesis is that, or the theory is that data privacy broke marketing, probably for a good reason, because users were getting fed up of being harvested
yeah.
rather than being sort of honored in this mix. Anyway, Appreciation Engine has a tool that solves that. You plug it in, it makes you data compliant in 144 countries. And now that the compliance piece has become invisible, you can actually now engage with this user, knowing that you have full consent to engage. And so it's very cool because the user can now also log in and go, I shared my data with company X back 18 months ago. I don't want to. These ones I do want to. And then what we do is we use the blockchain to reward the user for sharing their data, right? So
Yeah.
it's very cool. And yeah. So I mean, I think that's where it kind of
hear me now, believe me later. But my friends that are experimenting with both AI and automating compliance are the ones that get rich quickest.
Well, I've always felt that the plumbing is always where the money's at, right? It's the same sort of picks and shovels, not gold.
Well, and compliance in particular, because if you can save someone, 10% on their compliance infrastructure, they're having to run this all the time. And if you can give more capabilities as well, I mean,
you don't have to say
anyone to say no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. I mean, it's a very Canadian story because they've sort of basically just beavered away out of Vancouver Island for 8 years and established a de facto exclusive with both Sony and Universal globally. So clearly it works. And my job was to kind of translate it over into games initially, but we're seeing so much anytime there's an audience, right? And then I think, this whole idea of the audience being a much more central piece of the framework here for everything, and particularly with AI generated content, right? I mean, it's just become so decentralized, right? I mean, it's the true vision of decentralization, I think.
So Zaro, I had asked you to go next, but I'm actually going to flip over to Landon because I think this is her first time joining one of these calls, and I haven't had a chance for you to kind of introduce yourself. And so, Landon, hi, how's it going? How are you showing up today?
Oh, I'm showing up and just soaking it all in as usual. But nice to meet everybody. I'm a chemical engineer by training, spent a lot of time in biotech down in California, had my own healthcare company for about 10 years in California. And now I am here in Vancouver and I work with startups. And needless to say, every startup has an AI angle these days, some more credible than others. And my little side project, because their most common question to me is, how do I raise money? How do I raise money? I do a lot of pitch deck evaluations and feedback, and I'm building a AI companion to help me do that, and to help the startups get a bit of a score as to whether they are investment ready, need a little work, or need a whole lot of work before they're ready to pitch. And so that's my side project. But this is the group where I just every time I attend one of the meetups, I just get very energized about all the possibilities out there. And so I'm
It
joining.
always blows
make
my mind
connections.
too, the amazing stuff that all y'all are up to. I mean, it's incredible, really.
Right. So
Well, thank
Just
you.
on that topic, Chris, one of the things that one complains about in biotech and stuff for Vancouver and BC is the paucity of investors who are here.
100%. Exactly.
Look at Invest BC, this
Right.
event coming up next week. There is a much wider group of investors have engaged than previously, but there are two parts of nothing in terms of investors here normally. I mean, from my perspective, from Cambridge, UK, and Boston, it's astounding.
No, I agree. That's been my observation in my short-term time here. And in fact, I am signed up for Invest BC. So if you're going to be there, Simon,
We shall
Well, it
connect.
sounds
we
like I'm
could
going to sign up for it
definitely.
now, but I will say, like, it's a travesty given the quality of UBC and some of the other.
No, it
It
absolutely
is.
is.
Even
Why is
from
it
back
not
when we were
Boston?
at
Is my
Roadhouse.
question always.
I
Yeah.
have
I
some
don't know why.
editorial.
How do we
you
re-engage with those universities to get them back? Even at Roadhouse 12 years ago, we had like Panos, who was running the innovation center, come over. He's like, we really want to help, companies commercialize. And I'd lived through particularly guys like Natural Motion out of Oxford and this sort of whole ecosystem in the UK. And I'm just like, why does this not happen around UBC at the
No,
quality?
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And
One of the
it's
reasons is their IP ownership contracts suck, right? That's the thing. So we should actively write a new academic private partnership agreement and get UBC to adopt it, because then I think a lot of it.
James, I actually have a funny story about that.
Yeah.
Because my great uncle was Harold Kopp out of UBC. If you've heard that name, he used to have a building, and he invented calcitonin. Anyway, they pretty much gave it away. And when I was there at a biotech conference in the 80s and talking to them about it, they said that because they gave it away and didn't make billions in royalties over this pharmaceutical, their whole IP group reoriented to be like, we cannot let another one of those ever happen. And they've become like the pendulum swung the other way, and they're one of the worst universities now for getting IP out of. But anyway.
Well, I have a couple things to add. One is that the province is aligned with this being a key issue. They, the head of Innovate BC, which is like one of the organizations that kind of represents our interests and stuff, is Peter Callan, a lawyer from Ontario, who they brought out to head up IP related stuff. And so if you look at their goals and programs and spending, a lot of it's on IP for startup type workshops and stuff, and the commercialized tech transfer out of universities and stuff like that. Not that it's working great, but that is, I know at least there's money and programs and trainings and events and kind of stuff there. You probably have seen it all coming across your radar, but
No,
yeah.
it's there, but I would agree with some of the other comments that it's not a well-oiled machine that really,
That's other theory too, and I don't want to get too much into it now because I want to keep going around the room, but BC has 100 years of shady stock market investment climate and infrastructure built up around that. So all of these BC-based venture capitalists and the stock promoters and all the people that are kind of like associated with that ecosystem, they come from like the speculative OTC, BB, unregulated, like let's build a gold mine here. And there's this common move where they like tech companies using an instrument called an RTO or reverse takeover, bend themselves into a shell, a stock ticker shell, and then put out a bunch of press releases to drive the stock up, while stock promoters call your grandma and try to sell her the next AI hot fucking shit thing to come out of BC. And so this has been our history for like 100 years. And so it's like all of us that are doing like legit tech and legit companies and investment and real things that we exist inside this paradigm and ecosystem where this is the overarching thing. Like if you go somewhere and tell them like, BC venture capital, people's minds immediately go to this penny stock, mining and exploration, resource-based gimmickry. So we have to overcome these things to be able to thrive here. I feel like, it's like not just that there's no investors, it's that like we come from a weird edge case regional ecosystem around investment and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Anyway, other people are welcome to comment on. Oh, thanks, James. I'm glad that I nailed it.
Well, it's 100% true. I mean, the Canadian Securities Exchange has always been a cesspool, and we are saddled with that stuff, right? So you're right.
Yeah, even like leaders in our community, our CEOs of publicly traded companies went public this summer on the CDX, stock exchange that I don't think have real products or revenues or customers or anything. They just got press releases and stock promoters, and they're playing up and down stock games, Okali Dokali. So let's go with Zara.
It's crazy. I'm loving the energy today. I'm not gonna lie. Like Alma, nice to see you. Alma means soul in my native language, so I love the name. That's a crazy name to have. Amazing.
Saying in my language.
See, yeah, there you go. So we shared that already. And Chris, love to hear the stories as well. As some people here know, my wife is also from an indigenous background, but we come from Brazil. So she's from the Amazon. So very different culture and whatnot, but it's been a journey for both of us to understand. Like Canada gave us the opportunity to dig deep into our own history for the first time, because in Brazil that's not something that you want to do. But it's something that we've been doing, and we love to hear and love that people like you are part of this environment. And then just hearing James and Landon, like it feels like this group is getting more and more, like we're getting that clay ready, and it feels like something's coming out of here real quick. I'm Gabe Zaro. I have been working in gaming for the past 8 years. Before that, I was running a digital strategy company back in Brazil, doing stuff for sports and for politicians. So I've been working in strategy and then gaming. And yeah, James, I think we definitely need to chat, because one of the projects that I've been working since April is around turning communities into infrastructure for brands. So what you said really resonates. Like the whole thing about what is it called? The appreciation engine. Yeah, that's really close to what I'm trying to build on
Do
the
it.
side with.
I knew
Yeah.
it. Yeah, when
No,
James signed up this morning, I was like, dude, I got to get him talking to Zaro about this stuff. Yeah.
It's so close. It's so close. I think we have we're walking in parallel with a lot of things, and I think I can help you, and I believe you can also help me. And then
He's been really humble, but he's run online communities for some of the biggest things in the world, like EA's soccer games and EA's basketball games and stuff like that.
I worked at EA for FIFA for 4 years, and then I went to 2K for working on their basketball games. So I've been around two of the biggest ones, and very complicated.
Yeah, I could see from your hoodie. I was like that 2K26, man.
That is a pretty cool hoodie, bro, because I'm sure there aren't that many of those, and they are only for insiders. So
yeah,
It's going to be interesting to see how community management evolves in the era of the EA that belongs to Saudi, right?
There you
I'm
go.
looking forward to this, right? It's going to be
And I think there's a lot of
yeah.
services that can be, it's a huge opportunity. It's weird. It definitely is weird, but I think there's a lot of opportunity as all of these disruptions that we're talking about create opportunities at the same time. I can see many of those. And then yeah, just welcome to all the new faces. Great to see you here. I think I've seen Landon on the events before, and Chris as well, maybe. But yeah,
Cool. Thanks, Zaro. Always nice rubbing brains with you, sir. Up next, I wanted to throw over to Armin. Armin broke my little heart this morning. He got offered his dream job and he accepted and has started. And so Armin and I had been cooking up some plans around the BCAI Ecosystem Youth Scholarship Fund. And Armin had just completed my AI upgrade program where I had hoped to bring him on as an instructor in the falls to co-lead an AI upgrade for HR professionals with me. However, none of those things are going to happen because he's got his sweet new dream job. Congratulations, my friend.
I love you, brother. Thank you. Thanks so much. Honestly, it broke my heart as well when I had to send you that message. I just didn't want to disappoint you. I said that in the text message this morning as well. My day starts at 5:30 a.m. right now, and it ends at about midnight. I kid you not. So, just a quick background on this. So, I am now working for a company called LMI Technologies. We specialize in 2D and 3D vision using laser for calibration, and it's able to, through AI and machine learning, measure depth, width, and height, and any deficiencies in any products that are going over a conveyor belt at a fast speed. So that was a kind of company that I've been dying to work for, especially in the manufacturing sector, because there's so much opportunity. So the reason why I was brought on board is the typical of most organizations, the HR department, it can definitely take advantage of some advancements on the AI and ML side. So they brought me in and they said, have a look, give us a report on the first week. I did that this morning, and there's definitely a lot of opportunities. Now, the project itself is about 8 weeks long. I have to finish everything by December 18th. So after that, I'm hoping that I can jump back on board with KK. But
dude, they're not going to let you go. After 8 weeks of Armin, they're definitely going to make you some sort of offer.
Oh, much love, brother, honestly, for all of you guys and Zora and the rest of the team. But on this side, I'm also working on a project on the HR side because our HR is traditionally very archaic, and they're so process, procedure, and policy driven that they just don't want to change anything. And every time I suggest something, it hits the wall. So I'm working on this side with KK's blessing and his directives and teachings, coming up with a tool that's both ethical and is in compliance and governed by the right thing to do to help organizations hire for the skills that they constantly say there's not enough of them. I'm kind of personally tired of hearing that all the time, that we can't find any right people for the organization. To me, that basically says that the companies are not willing to train and develop people to put them in the right positions. So that's what we are working on. And I have another meeting with a couple of developers tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I will.
Truly so proud of you, man. And I was I'm joking about my personal time. Things ebb and flow, man. We'll be back doing these things before
Absolutely. I promise you, once things settle down, I'll be back at it. And you know how much I love you guys. So thank you.
Well, with 2 months, we'll have moved on.
Pardon?
We'll have moved on.
Okay, up next, I want to throw over to Mr. Pixel Wizard, aka Prompt Goblin, aka Kevin Friel. Kevin's been super busy in the last 3 months. He is triple timing a whole bunch of suitors. And I guess one thing I want you to mention, so this is going to be the first time that somebody else has kind of programmed the Vancouver AI meetup. So I've got the hackathon part that I worked on, but Kevin's pulled together an AI film festival for us for next Wednesday, including, well, I'll let him say, but it's like, a bunch of, well, you go and I'll fill in the gaps.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's been a a blistering while. You'll see that I'm wishing that it's summer. It's actually because my GPUs are running at full tilt right now. It is a goddamn furnace in here. So
if Kevin gets any busier, he's gonna have to be naked on these calls.
Yeah, and then then NORAD will not work because I'm just too pale for that. So yeah.
Have you not found extraterrestrial intelligence yet? I mean, you got to be running SETI at home with a rig like that.
James, I have a short film that I need to send you after this.
Okay, well, it's fine. I've got some early stage SETI stories, man. I'll tell you. But anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what one of the main things that's been really keeping me busy is like Armin, I've recently come into my dream job. Congrats, Armin. Mine is at NeraStudios.ai, which is a Hollywood stealth mode currently, but we're starting to creep out a little bit. That is developing tools, a platform, and original IP all through AI processes in film, mostly for online so far, and then we'll see where we go from there. In terms of the film specialty that's coming up on Wednesday, speak of Nera, I've got a couple of my chums on board speaking and showing films that they've produced. One of them, Bayrate, who is an absolute legend in animation, visual effects, and gaming.
Like legend, as in he built the face of Gollum for Lord of the Rings, right?
Exactly, amongst other things. Was also the head of cinematics at Valve during all of the Half-Life years. So much that he has done. He is a gift and a treasure to be absorbed in every day, and I can't wait for you to see some of the words that he has to say, as well as Elvis, well, one of my other fellow show crafters that we're calling ourselves from Toronto at Nera. He's got a really whimsical short that I can't wait to show you. My friend Ryan from Toronto, who just debuted his AI short at TIFF, will be showing his piece as well, and he'll be speaking a little bit. And excuse me, a handful of others. And after that, we're going to have a nice fireside chat with Luke, who you may see quite often in the AI film group.
Yeah, Luke Miniker is also a member of us. He's not on this call today, but he's one of us, and he runs an animation studio and is going to be sharing at the meetup.
Yeah, and he's doing really great, cool, unique things and experimentations, leveraging his animation experience, and his directing reel is pretty bonkers.
Yeah,
you see it in the quality of his work.
He's got a strong perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And his character work is just like, oh yeah, he's an animator for sure. Yeah. Oh my God, my brain is like.
Well, let me jump in. I'm so freaking excited actually, because I've asked Kevin to like give us a state of the art smorgasbord of what the world needs to know about AI entertainment industry changes. And so he's going to have this, maybe 5 or 7 shorts that are kind of played together with some commentary, some talks and tool talk type stuff, as well as some vision things, and from a pretty broad cross section of people, both local and international. Kevin Karu from ByteDance is flying in, and he's flying the guys in from Think Diffusion, which is someone that they're partnering with, and they want us to partner with around the generative video hackathon thing that we've been cooking up with those guys. So some of you guys have been heard me talk about a ByteDance partnership. There was on the table like an $80,000 hackathon sponsorship opportunity, which did not get approved, mostly just because they're hard to work with. Like it takes like 8 to 10 weeks for them to move things through their corporate cycles. But we did get some sponsorship money approved. I think they'll be dropping later this fall, support our programs and stuff. And anyway, he's this guy from Tokyo who's a product manager on one of the world's leading models, this Sea Dream model. And he views us and Kevin and Luke and Zaro as real just kind of leaders in this space. And like Kevin's like got his finger as close to the pulse of AI entertainment industry changes as anybody on the planet. I'm not hyperbole in here. So that's why we keep asking you to come share and let us know what we need to know. You have brought up all of our capabilities a lot, sir, through the way that you share stuff, and I appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And this film focus this month is in the spirit of getting an in-person gathering going monthly as a specialty in film as well, because we need community to start seeing this opportunity of this industry that is blowing up like crazy and convert all of our VFX and animation and gaming folks into that realm. A good few people are already. Tim Riopel is coming along for the fireside chat as well. He's a huge leader in Comfy UI and Nuke integration as a compositor, and he's going to be chatting along with Luke and myself as well.
Kevin's
That's just a
on
taster of what we
my
have.
Kevin's on my too awesome for the universe arm and shit list as well. Kevin's been so successful over the last little while. Kevin and I have some little things that we produce the videos together from the AI meetups on our YouTube channel. We've been growing that over time. But Kevin's so freaking swamped right now. We just don't even have time to like even do our collaborations for this kind of stuff. So good job, and dagnabbit.
Yes,
all at the
yes, I
same
take
time, you know?
I take those equally, sir. Those are both earned. Yes.
Yeah. The moment we're in, man, we're doing our best and we're making magic. Someone said something. Oh, Zaro was like, "Oh yeah, I really see this group coming together." It's like, yeah, dude, we didn't even exist 8 weeks ago, you know, and most of you have joined in the last month or whatever, right? And so this is the container, and it's proven the model, sort of, you know, and stuff. And the idea is just that we share our energy, expertise, ideas, help each other where we can, in whatever, however that looks. And I love to see it happening too. It's really beautiful.
And Chris, a lot of what is happening today in our world, it is thanks to you. I did want to bring that up. Honestly, the community you have built and the way you bring us all together, it's unlike anything I've seen before. And I really mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I have so much to learn from you, and even just that your management style. Dude, you're something very special, and BC is very lucky to have you, and I certainly feel very lucky to have you in my life. So thank you for that.
I feel like I can accept it here in this room more easily than I would be able to accept it almost anywhere else, because you people have put your money where your mouth is to join in this experimental vision for what could be something that's more than the sum of its parts, right? And so I do have a vision, and I have been sharing it, and I'm happy that it connects with you all, and hopefully together we can, you know, gel, and it's an ebb and flow thing. It's loosey goosey. It's loose grip, tight ship type leadership style, right? We got to come together, bring what we got, see what we can build, overcome that BC investment climate limitation through maximizing our awesomeness.
Chris,
all right.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
What happens if you get an offer from another province that you can't refuse?
I don't think that's where my head is at. What would they be able to offer me? Like 1,000 of my friends on a channel that was trying to lift each other up all the time? Like, I mean, that's what we got going on here. Try to beat that, Alberta, or whatever, you know.
Well, we can just create your real-time video clone, and there can be two of you, Chris. Don't worry
There
about
you go.
that. Like, we'll just spawn you. We'll spawn you.
We'll get handy with HeyGen for a hot 10 minutes. Yeah.
We're squarely
100%, right,
just building this now from the ground up, and that's as far as my vision goes for right now. But I do believe that this little model, this container that we're building, is a bit of an anecdote to what plagues modern humanity in general around alienation, loneliness, disconnection from other people. I was going to say earlier, so many of us now are independents that we don't have the benefit of going into work and hanging around people outside of our normal disciplines or with other ideas and stuff, you know, water cooler styles. So for, you know, this modern gig worker type thing, things like this can become those, you know, community ecosystems and stuff. And hey, James, I also wanted to say earlier, it was one of the things that slipped and then Kevin brought it back for me. Right after you or right before you, I invited Ron Taller into BCAI. He joined. That guy, that's the Grammy award-winning drummer that's produced over 500 albums and started like 3 music technology companies that he sold over the years. So, I mean, I love this type of like professional networking too, because we're all a lot more than just like the one facet that we're more than just HR. We're more than just, you know, building out online gaming networks and stuff. And so I didn't know you're a musician, and I look forward to exploring that more. Guys, we got 9 minutes left, and I like to end these things on time. Try to keep it to a minute. Rob Arthurs.
Hey, Chris, nice to see you. Just for all you guys that were complaining about Vancouver and not having funding, yes, I can agree. I spent 14 years with the BC government, but we do have funding available, and it's because of Chris and creating groups like this, investors can come. I used to work very closely with the Pegasus Fund out of New York that would come to Vancouver looking for opportunities to fund in technology, but we were so disjointed, they walked away shaking their head saying there's so much potential here, but we can't do it. The other group is the Ontario or the California Teachers Fund is here on a regular basis looking to fund opportunities in Canada. British Columbia has got a very, very strong arm in the finance side of it with a guy named Chris King, who runs our British Columbia government finance office out of Boston. He very closely, he works with companies from British Columbia. He helps them get into the MIT Incubator Center there. These are companies from British Columbia, that many pharmaceutical companies that have gone there and have been funded by Chris and his connections globally, like the Pegasus Fund. So if you guys want to know this stuff, just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll happy to connect you with my ex-government colleagues. And Chris Carpenter, yes, I understand the BC government, and it sucks. After 14 years, I was headhunted to help them with the Olympics. I had to walk away. Just on another note, so connect with me on that financing side. And Chris, because of the meeting that we didn't have this morning, you prompted something very cool to say, because this morning George Mullen showed up at the coffee shop wondering where we were because he doesn't answer email. And to me, so I went to my chat GPT and said, I'm a guy that's more instant messaging these days, text message and all this stuff. And I put into chat GPT and said, what is happening globally about people checking their emails? And it is a trend everywhere that people, especially Gen Z, does not look at email. They rely on instant messaging, and people are checking less of their emails. So I went to my AI, created an article. It's coming out more on LinkedIn, all because of this, about the meeting today that you and I got the message not to go. George didn't get it because he doesn't read email.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rob. I'm really looking forward to connecting with you more deeply. Rob's got some interesting FIFA Media Center stuff that I'm going to have you talk about another time going on, just because we're a little bit pinched for time here. But I'm so stoked, man. And I know that Matthew Schwartzman, who's another member of our group, did a podcast with you this week, and he was super excited about that. So when that comes out, make sure we all get a look at it, please. Michelle, and then Yemi, please. Will he figure it out? Hey, Michelle.
Okay, here, I'm using a different device. Can you guys hear me better? I'm using my phone.
So much better than every other week previously. Thank you.
I know. I checked the notes, the transcript. It was sketchy, man. It just had me like blurbing in a couple of random words.
That's pretty funny that you can go back. You're like, what was Chris talking about? Was I actually hard to hear? And then you get to your section of the transcript, and it's just like ellipses all across the whole thing.
Yeah. So, well, what I've been up to, I've built out a couple more small apps, and I'm looking at DaVinci, for editing video and things. I'm flabbergasted by what can be done now. Like I'm just flabbergasted, and I'm on a tech dive. Welcome to the new guys. Welcome, James and Alma there, and Landon. I see Yemi's there again. Yeah, it's a great outfit. I'm really pleased to be here every week. Yeah, I'm playing around with Google Colab today. I'm just running things.
Nice.
I'll let the next person speak.
Yeah, me and Kevin both spoke up for DaVinci there too. Yeah, you get almost all the features for free, and they were the first one who I was ever able to use the you ingest your footage, and then a text file pops up of what's in the footage transcribed, and then you make edits to the text file by typing, and it puts seamless, beautiful audio-visual cuts into the video. It's incredible. Totally incredible. Yemi, are you still in Scotland?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone.
How was your show? Tell us all about it.
Oh my goodness, the show. Okay, so it went well, first off. But this was a crowd of really old boomers from a very deep purple-blooded line. So it was almost like a coming out party for me within the group, because this is year 4. But it was really good. Like, I made some amazing connections. I did finish my AI movie. It is done. It's a 5-minute movie, and it's all, Gen AI created, all the way down to text to image to animation, and then kind of put everything there.
Hey.
Who's here, guys, is Victor. He's helping out with the workshop today. Sorry to interrupt. He just walked.
It's okay. Hello, Victor. So yeah, also I picked up a Global Win Award sometime this week. That's for Global Women Inventors and Innovators Network. It was in London, and it kind of came out a few months back, but we had to keep quiet till they made the official announcement. But I couldn't be there. But I do have confirmation that I did get awarded, and it's one of those really big time prestigious awards. So I feel very chuffed. And then yes, I'm heading to Lagos in a couple of days, and I can't wait to see my kids. I can't wait, and I have some more shows coming up. I have one coming up in Belfast on the 29th of this month that I'm helping to build their immersive gallery. I also have one that I am hosting in Lagos on the 1st of November with some amazing partners, and I can't wait to be back home to see my kids.
I'm so happy for you, Yemi. We would love to
Thank
help
you.
tell the story about your award. So if you send me just a little paragraph about what you
I will.
we'll include your announcement like in the newsletter that we
Thank you.
So
Thank
busy,
you.
Yemi. So busy. What the?
Oh, and I had the workshop for the AI week for the UK yesterday. It was a live workshop. It was amazing. I kind of ran out of time, but the feedback was good. So yeah, that was another win for the week.
That's too cool. I also wanted to tell people, remember last week I was at the ferry terminal. I had just dropped Udbav off on the ferry to Victoria. We gave him a little sponsorship through the Youth Sponsorship Fund to go over to that Oceans Supercluster Hackathon. He got first place. He won the whole thing, and he gets to go to Paris as a part of the World Oceans Supercluster Hackathon. He built like a real-time monitoring system of sonographic acoustic data
Nice.
from the Strait of Juan de Fuca using real life data. I mean, he built like a real tool for mariners in a weekend. Amazing. You guys are all amazing. Schwartzman.
How's everybody doing? I'm listening to all of you experienced AI people. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind all of this. But I have a lot of enthusiasm, and I know that this is the right tools and the right people to be around, and it fascinates me that I can kind of venture into some of things. I come from computer graphics background and television and video, and then into real estate, where now I utilize AI tools to find properties and analyze data, and it's all fascinating. And now I'm also doing some things in the educational space, or at least looking into this for realtors that will definitely find beneficial out of the tools that I use. Also doing things in the medical field, trying to find ways to get my wife, who is battling cancer, out of the problems that she is dealing with. And there are certain tools that I'm using that have been extremely helpful, despite some of the things the doctors say. We seem to be doing better than what some of the predicted outcomes uh, were said to us. So, anyways, it's excited about some of these life-changing things that we're all being a part of, and happy to
Dimitri,
be
I'm
part of.
very happy you're here, and I'm very happy that your wife has come home recently. I'm happy for your whole fam. Thanks for your ongoing participation. And I saw how hard you were working there. I mean, you were at her bedside for 3 months, so amazing, bro. And I wanted to speak real quickly to that feeling that you spoke about at the beginning, where you're like, "Oh, I'm around all these amazing people, makes me realize I'm behind." I actually think that that is a characteristic of the moment. I think that that's how we all feel. Actually, it's how I feel when I look out across the landscape. There's a lot to keep up on, way more than any individual can do themselves. And so even this, in some ways, as is my best attempt at amplifying my abilities to stay in touch with reality as it quickly changes and stuff. And so it's like, anyway, I think that feeling you said, I bet you almost everyone here has felt that in ebbs and flows, or even today. I know Zaro has expressed that to me. Simon's expressed it to me. Armin's expressed it to me, so anyway, I'm not saying it's not a real
I'm not the
feeling,
only
but I
one.
think it has to do with this unique moment in time, I think, maybe. Any parting thoughts before we sign off here? I like to get everyone out on time, and I'm late.
Just love you all.
Yeah,
Anyone not
love you all.
get
Have a
to
great
share?
weekend.
Yeah, all right. See you guys.
Okay, I'll
Great
see you guys on
weekend.
the
Travel
channels.
safe, Yemi. Take care,
Bye,
guys.
thank you.
Bye,
I'll
guys.
keep you
I
updated.
published this call in transcript, unlisted and private, and I'll share it amongst us all on somewhere soon.
Awesome.
Take
Bye.
care, guys.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
For now.
Nice meeting you all.